want to be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my hair down to find one. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun.
Hi everyone and welcome to the first episode of lowkeyfluentpodcast. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to talk about your daily routine and past experiences at school using simple present and simple past. So let's get started. First, there are two questions. What's your daily school routine and what was your best day at school last week? Both of them, you can answer them below on the comments. And let's see some examples of this question. What's your daily school routine? I wake up at 7 a.m. on weekdays. There is a certain structure in here. You can see there is simple present, while the next one it says, what was your best day at school last week? I went with my friends to buy ice cream. So we can see there is some difference in here. But before we start to see these differences that we can see in the structure, we should talk about daily routines and past experiences, some vocabulary that we can see. For instance, daily routines have wake up or get up. In here we have an example, I wake up at 7 a.m. Next, have breakfast. They often have breakfast before they go to school. And another one is take the bus, to take the bus every day. In this case, we have a certain pattern, like routines. Then, in past experiences, we can say, well, join a sport or a club. He joined the drama club when he was in high school. To win a contest, I can say, I won spelling bee in 5th grade. And let's talk about exams, like students studied hard for their last exam. There is certain structure here that is characterized with the grammar that we're going to see. So let's start. Simple present versus simple past. Simple present, it is useful to describe habits or actions that happen regularly. In here, there are some examples. I wake up at 7 a.m. or my classes are from Monday to Friday. But let's see which is this structure of the simple present. It is different between some subjects. With I, you, we, they, we use in positive sentences the verb in base form, while in the negative form, we use do not or don't, then the base form. But when we see he, she, it in positive sentences, it is important that the verb has s or es, depending on the verb. While in the negative form, we use doesn't or does not, plus the verb in base form. Then there is some structure to the questions. We can use W questions at the beginning, or we can start with the auxiliary. For instance, some W questions that we have here is what, when, where, how, plus, in this case, there are two auxiliaries, do and thus. But let's start with do. We can use W questions plus auxiliary do, plus the subjects I, you, we, they, but the verb after that subject should be in base form, and then the complement of the question. On the other hand, we can use the auxiliary does and do, like should use W questions, then the auxiliary, then the subject, but the subjects are she, he, it, and then the verb should be in base form, plus the complement. But let's see some examples to enhance these structures. First, he gets dressed for school using his uniform. And here we can see that he is the subject and gets, it is important that in simple present uses an S. Then, when I go to classes, I get up early. In here we have the subject I, therefore we can't use S or yes. The verb should be or stay in base form. Negative examples, we have you don't bring your homework, or she doesn't play soccer after school. We can see the auxiliaries like don't and doesn't, and then the verb is in base form. After that, the questions we have in this case, it can start with the auxiliary, that do we have lunchtime at school, or with a W question like what do they eat for lunch at school. In this case, we have both of them. They use the subject we and they, therefore the auxiliary is do. But now it's time to talk about the simple past. Which are the difference between simple present and simple past? Well, simple past describe past experiences. Some examples in here: I forgot my homework. She didn't bring her activity for today's class. But let's see which is the structure of the simple past. In here, there is no division like in simple present. In here, you can use all the subjects I, you, we, they, he, she, it. And in a positive sentence, there is the situation that there is a regular verb and an irregular verb, which the regular verbs you add ed, while irregular verb, it depends the type of verb. While in the negative sentences, you can see that it is important to use did not or didn't plus the base verb in base form. And on the other hand, again, we have a structure for questions. We can start with W questions, then the auxiliary, the subject, the verb, and the complement. W questions like what, when, where, how, plus the auxiliary, in this case, did, then subject I, you, we, they, he, she, it, then the verb, it should be in base form, and after that, the complement. Let's see some examples. We can say she participated in class. In here, we can see there's a regular verb, participated. That's why they just add a D in this case. Then we have she didn't wake up early, so she arrived late. In this case, there's an example of negative sentence, didn't, and the verb is in base form. After that, some questions. Did they finish their assignment? What sport did he play during physical education class? We can start with the auxiliary, or as well, we can start with the W questions. So now it's time to practice. And here we have a QR code. You can scan this QR code with your cell phone, tablet, and you have 1 minute to do this activity. And here is fill in the gaps according to the tense, simple present or simple past. After you have done that, you can send us the results of your activity by email. So let's start to see the answers. First one is I study English every morning. The answer is I study English every morning. It's a simple present. Then we have they arrived late last week and got detention. Well, is they arrived late last week and got detention. It's a simple past. Then she wakes up early every day. It's a simple present. We did not do the homework for today, so it's a simple past. Therefore, it will be we didn't do the homework for today. Then there's a question. We have you finished your duties yesterday. Did you finish your duties yesterday? Now it's time for production time. Instructions. Write down a short text, 100 words, about your daily routine and past experiences at school using the simple present and simple past. In this case, you have to write down on the comments or send us an email with your short text. But after you have done it, you have to use Grammarly, which is a web page where you can check any type of mistakes. So after that, you should send us the before and after of your short text so we can analyze it to see your progress. And a short example would be on mornings, mostly on weekdays, I wake up at 7 a.m. because I have to go to school. After I wake up, I have breakfast with my family. So just take your time, and if there are any questions, you can write down on the comment section. Now let's rewrite sentences. In this activity, you should look at each statement and determine if it's a simple present or simple past. And after that, you have to rewrite a statement to the other tense, meaning that if it's in simple present, then you should do it to simple past. And if it's simple past, you should do it to simple present. So let's start. There's an example here. I wake up at 8 a.m., which means that if it's simple present, you should pass it to in simple past, which is I woke up at 8 a.m. So here it is. There are 4 statements in here. You have 1 minute to write down your answers on the comment section. Now let's see the answers. The first one, she eats lunch at 12 p.m. It is simple present, therefore it should be simple past. She ate lunch at 12 p.m. Then what did she do in her biology class? It's simple past, so change it to simple present. What does she do in her biology class? The next one, do they play volleyball in their class? It's simple present, so we change it to simple past. Did they play volleyball in their class? And finally, they didn't finish their homework on time. It is simple past, so the simple present, they didn't finish their homework on time. So that's it for today. If you have any questions or doubts, don't hesitate to comment on the comment section or send us an email if you have any doubts about the topic or this exercise. So like and subscribe for more. Goodbye for now.